So, what's up, guys?
Well, Marge, you said you wanted a makeover. The first thing that's got to go is the hat, though.
Wait, no.
And now a little makeup for you.
No, wait, stop! No!
Where is the Fab Five when you need them?
The Lambda network at the Eastman Kodak Company is dedicated to creating and sustaining an environment that values and supports all Kodak employees, independent of their sexual orientation or gender expression. Lambda works to support and educate employees about gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender, GLBT, workplace issues. We will look at the history of the Lambda network and how it has helped create change at Kodak. During the early years of the Lambda network, President Clinton announced the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy for gays in the military. The U.S. Senate failed to pass the Federal Employment Non-Discrimination Act. And Ellen DeGeneres came out in the media. Historically, the work environment was very isolating for many GLBT individuals at Kodak. It took a great deal of courage from a small group of Kodak employees to explore, discuss, and start the Lambda network. Some early leaders share their stories about the start of the network.
We were sitting having breakfast one morning and we were talking about what it was like to be alone in the workforce at Eastman Kodak Company. We didn't know any other gay and lesbian people. We didn't know how to get together with them, and it was this aloneness, this actual loneliness at work of not being able to find anybody, to talk to anybody about yourself and what you were going through. And we really wanted to create some kind of social group just so that we could exchange what was happening for us in our day-to-day lives.
And we also wanted to make sure that we focused where the primary issues might be, and that was in manufacturing because, as most of you know, most of our employees work in dark rooms, so it's very difficult being gay and not being able to see who's standing next to you and work. And so we had an issue that was unique to most other companies, and I think that's where our success has been because we have focused right into the manufacturing areas.
The primary objectives of the network we decided were support and education.
This is a network that Kodak can be proud of, and this is a network that other employees can be proud that Kodak has and would want to be a part of.
The other networks also knew that if the company was great on this issue, they were going to be great on all issues of diversity because this is the toughest.
The thing that really struck me at that time was the incredible dedication and maybe more than anything else was the incredible courage that people were showing to really help put this change in place in the corporation.
The day that the Lambda network was announced, I remember my day was turned upside down. I was the HR manager for an organization at the time, which was fairly traditional organization, even given, even as we benchmarked against others at that time. And I remember I spent the day having conversations and essentially supporting why the network needed to exist. And it wasn't just conversations with operators, it was with senior managers in the organization that I routinely interfaced with.
The first Lambda management event was held in 1995 with 110 employees attending. Since the start, Lambda's annual educational events have been instrumental in helping to create conversations and learnings about GLBT issues.
We said we wanted to invite George Fisher, and we would very much like to have all of his direct reports there, because we had heard from so many other companies that it started with the CEO. If the CEO wasn't on board, this wasn't going to move anywhere.
Our first Lambda event with management is indelibly ingrained in my mind for multiple reasons. You would have to have been there to sense the discomfort that was in the air. people actually afraid, in some sense, of being there. And some people didn't come because they were afraid that their management might not condone their participation.
We needed to have a pretty spectacular speaker at the event. Someone who could speak to senior level management and engage them and convince them that having or embracing the gay and lesbian population within the company was a business imperative.
But it was the leadership of people like Elizabeth Birch who really came to the fore and helped people understand, managers as well as participants, understand the importance of the dialogue. So it was a historic event at Bushnell Basin that night, and the beginning of something that I think has become a great strength of Kodak's, and that is the open society that I think we are today.
Those first years, everyone was terrified. How are people going to respond? What's going to be the reaction? Crafting every single little word.
The first event, years ago, 1995, I think it was frightening. It was scary for me because I'm thinking, I'm not gay. I have a lot of gay friends. I want to support this, but I'm also chicken. But it was a very nice experience to go to. I felt very much at home. I learned things. I think I've learned things at every one I've gone to.
I think very shortly after, I went to my first network event, one of the annual events, and sat next to somebody in the organization who was gay. And, you know, as the HR manager, I asked the question, so what strategies do you think we could have in place to support this community? And I remember his answer was just so simple and profound. It's, as an individual, he just wanted to be safe, you know, physically safe at that time.
I remember when Lambda first started, people that went to a Lambda network event, you know, I think people wondered, why is that your fight? You know, is there something we don't know about you? So now it seems you can go to the Lambda events and people know that you're there to support your friends and your colleagues.
It's not, it doesn't have the, if the word stigma could be used in the beginning ones, it certainly couldn't be used in the latter ones.
Just the weight on people's shoulders and the energy that it took and the sadness that people felt and just years and years of not so great experiences to now where there's this joy and celebration and pride in being gay and speaking about being a part of the network. And it was 10 years ago, it was you had to justify who you were and why you were there, and you don't have to do that now.
Lambda had conducted their first educational session earlier that year. And as part of that session, there was quite a bit of discussion around domestic partner benefits. And members of Lambda had gone to George Fisher and said, George, would you please take another look at domestic partner benefits? As we identified 20 senior execs, and we met with them, like two members of my team, with them individually. And the purpose was twofold. One, to educate. But secondly, to actually have them help in the design. I remember George Fisher saying afterwards he couldn't believe that something so controversial could be decided in a half hour with very little, you know, debate. And I think that was because of all the homework we had done. And I think it's because the people in the room really knew that it was the right thing to do.
When Kodak had first announced the domestic partnership, I thought I was working for the right company.
And I really wanted to be able to bring my true self to work. So I had to come out during my negotiations. And I was very pleasantly surprised when it became a very free-flowing, easy conversation. I was able to come out, and they were able to tell me all about the wonderful domestic partner benefits here at Kodak and really start to put my mind at ease.
And about 3 or 4 years ago, my partner was out of work, and I brought him on my health care, and the the comfort, the safety net, knowing that that was available for me was, and for him, for us, was, I can't say how important that was, how much that meant to me.
I know I've worked for Kodak for a lot of years, and I've had a chance to lead a lot of change efforts. But as I look back in my career, this is one that is probably that I'm most proud of. And I'm most proud of it because I think it was an opportunity to initiate a change and lead a change that impacts people's lives.
During those early years, Lambda leaders courageously started the necessary conversations with management around gay and lesbian issues in the workplace. These conversations led to more equitable benefits and a sense that Kodak really valued its GLBT employees. In the late 90s, Matthew Shepard is murdered. Vermont grants civil union rights to same-sex couples. Melissa Etheridge comes out. Will and Grace, featuring a lead gay character, becomes a primetime hit. During this time, Lambda continued to build credibility. The network fostered allies and continued to educate employees, including advocates, in the Winning an Inclusive Culture initiative.
I think what was great about building the credibility of the network was that our early events were so successful. The educational event, the Can We Talk workshop, the panels and the brown bags that we participate with the company really gave us a good foundation.
The individuals within the Lambda network who were also working within Kodak Park at the time had an appreciation for what the environment there was really like for them every day, and were brave enough to step out and say, you know what, this needs to change.
I certainly thought that if I came out into the company that I would be fired. But as I learned to trust the people in Lambda and become more and more comfortable with myself, Lambda gave me the opportunity to be able to be in leadership positions that I never would have been able to have.
Joining Lambda was like getting swept up into something that was bigger than me, and yet I could make a difference. It's really been my avenue of making a difference. And for me, the way to do that has been through education.
But there was still more work to be done. Lambda made key educational programs, such as the Can We Talk workshop, accessible to a broader audience at Kodak.
I work in a division where it's not really safe, I don't think. You're dealing with a lot of people that are subtle in their ways, and a lot of things don't want to be heard. A lot of things they don't want to hear or don't want to talk about.
It didn't take too long for it to be clear that it was hard to have these conversations at work. It was hard for people to, the work environment just didn't allow to have some casual conversations about how to be out at work, why it was important, some of the issues that maybe now are more commonplace, but at the time it was difficult. And so we said, well, let's create kind of an artificial environment where people have an opportunity to talk. And what we came upon is this fishbowl model. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to give people who hadn't had a conversation with GLBT people or on the topic of GLBT issues a chance to listen in and hear what the issues are, hear the differences within the GLBT community on certain issues. Why be out at work? What did it mean growing up? What are some of your concerns about your career versus being out at work?
The value that I see in a Can We Talk is that it puts a personal face on the GLBT issues.
I attended my first Can We Talk session, and at the time I was only out with my closest friends. This was an experience that I never expected. It stirred feelings inside of me that made me realize I needed to do something. I just had no idea what that something was.
From the beginning, Lambda recognized the value of supporting allies so that together we could successfully create change.
At that point, I thought that I was there. I had a gay friend or two. I had gone to a educational network event. What else is there? And at that educational event was where I learned about a GLBT ally's journey, and that there was a journey for an ally as well as a GLBT individual that is in the coming out process. And so that was when I realized that there was so much more that A, I could learn personally, and B, that I could contribute as an ally. And so that was when I started to be much more active, learning about what as a leader of the company I could do in terms of the education aspect.
Not only is there energy from the GLBT community, but as a straight ally, the comfort to know that you can put yourself out there and you can have some difficult conversations.
I guess, the preconceived notion is that if you join the Lambda network, you must be gay. And I always thought, that it felt uncomfortable to join something that I wasn't a part of. I had met people who had come out. I said, if they can come out and they can be, better people because of coming out, then maybe I should get to know, more about these people and more about the group.
Through education and support, Lambda grew credibility. More employees became allies and members, enabling the network to expand our scope. We will never forget the tragedy of September the 11th. One of the quieter tragedies of 9/11 is that many same-sex partners were denied survivor benefits. In 2002, the U.S. Senate again fails to pass the Federal Employment Non-Discrimination Act. Rosie O'Donnell comes out, and Queer Eye for the Straight Guy premieres. As Lambda continued to grow into the new millennium, more opportunities were provided for people to get involved. Several key strategy teams were established and new partnerships were forged. This has enabled Lambda to continue educating and to keep talking.
People are afraid of things they don't quite understand. And so that's to me why education is such a powerful tool. You've got to speak to a person's heart. If you're really going to impact them and create change, you need to speak to their heart.
It's a very serious topic when you think about it, sexual orientation. There's a lot of people that don't know very much about it. They want to be educated. But how do you do it in a non-threatening way so that people want to learn and they don't have their walls up? And one way to do that is it's a fine line, though, to make education fun, but it's got to be very carefully planned.
In 2002, Lambda debuted the Codawood Squares game show. This educational and entertaining program addresses GLBT myths and misconceptions.
Now. Here we are. We're tied with our two contestants, each tied with 2,000 points.
Myself and Marge Meyer developed the script and put together the team and delivered that show that year. And to our amazement, it was an incredible success because of the education and the fun that people experience learning a very tough topic in a non-threatening way.
One of the great educational events that I was able to participate in was when we did the Codawood Squares for our educational event a couple of years ago, and it was just the greatest time. I mean, we had a good time doing it. We got the chance to educate people about all the issues GLBT people have to face every day. It was just great. It was a wonderful thing for us, and I particularly enjoyed it because I got to be myself that day.
Lambda has continued to improve its educational programs to reach all levels within an organization.
As we continued to explore what we needed to do, we again worked with Lambda, and in this case the GAGV, to pilot an ally workshop, because we realized that we needed allies throughout the community to help change the culture. We put on an ally workshop, which was about a 4-hour session, and we invited our leadership team, this was voluntary, our leadership team, our advocates, and our inclusion council. And again, this is where we help create that foundation to support the culture change in the community. And again, Lambda was just instrumental. We brought the Codawood Squares to our shop floor as an educational event, We brought the network shop floor introductory sessions. And then finally, we most recently piloted a shop floor Can We Talk, where we, on the B shift, invited an open forum of individuals to come in and participate in that fishbowl. And it has just been key and critical for us to continue to drive our business results. We've got to have a community that feels comfortable and included, and that's the foundation on which we can then introduce concepts like KOS and our Kaizans in terms of trying to make radical change to our business.
For the shop floor outreach, we partnered with all Kodak employee networks. It provided a safe way for employees to get information about Lambda without the fear of being targeted as gay or gay-friendly.
I was involved with the shop floor outreach. It was a program where we brought the networks to the shop floor during a time when they, in the middle of the night or in the afternoon when they have time to come and talk to you. The reason we wanted to do this was so that the people on the shop floor could understand that the networks were for everybody, not just for the people that work the 9-to-5 shifts.
And I believe that I want to be treated the same way that they would like to be treated, with respect, with compassion, and knowing that all of us bring something each day to the workplace.
Lambda's partnership with Human Resources has been another key in creating change. This team educates HR associates and recommends guidelines and policies for the workplace.
I got a great note from one of my peers who said a few days after the panel discussion, somebody came in her office to ask about domestic partner benefits, and she said she really felt like she was better prepared for that conversation. And another big one that we worked with Global Diversity on was creating a transgendered guideline. And it's pretty huge, because when you think, we did a lot of benchmarking, and what we found in industry right now, there's only a couple companies that have anything like that. So it's very exciting, because it really makes you see that Kodak's really on the cutting edge.
It's been a great opportunity to teach people within Kodak what the issues are of the transgendered community, and it's amazing the knowledge that people seek and the knowledge that we have to give them if we're willing to do that.
Kodak supports fair and equal treatment for all employees, both at the corporate and national level.
A couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to testify in front of the U.S. Senate for ENDA, the Employment Non-Discrimination Act. And I've got to say, that was one of the proudest moments of my career. It was the opportunity to represent Kodak, to advocate for the extension of very basic civil rights when it comes to non-discrimination in the workplace on behalf of our corporation. And doing that, knowing what we stand for as a company and how our values relate to that particular piece of legislation. One of the reasons I was able to do it with as much confidence as I was because of what I've learned over the years through my interaction with Lambda. And an understanding of the issues that the GLBT community faces in the workplace, and why that piece of legislation is so important for our country.
The Lambda Marketing Strategy Team partners with Kodak marketing employees and Lambda members to positively represent the Kodak brand in the GLBT community.
One of the areas that I really enjoyed participating with Lambda in is the Lambda marketing team. And the purpose of the Lambda marketing team is to promote the Kodak brand in the gay and lesbian community. And there's been two areas that we focused on to help to do that. The first is to help to educate our partners and colleagues in business research and marketing within Kodak on the value that the gay and lesbian community can add back to the company by better understanding how to reach those customers. Our marketing colleagues have a better idea on how to advertise and include the gay and lesbian community in their messages. Another area that we've been involved in with the Lambda marketing team is working to be ambassadors for the Kodak brand. Kodak has been awesome with supporting the GLBT community, both inside and outside of the company.
Photo session opportunities at 4 or 5 different events, different LGBT local Rochester events throughout the year. And it's a great opportunity for Kodak and for Lambda to give positive visibility. You know, Kodak is known for its pictures, so what better way is it then for Lambda to offer free quality portraits to the community.
The Lambda networking strategy team provides support and a sense of community both within Kodak and in the Rochester region.
A cabin event for members and also other folks in the Rochester community. And it was well attended. We had over 60 people there.
I was greeted at the door by Therese Feller, and she was the event organizer, and it was a wonderful opportunity. She took me in and introduced me to 50 or more people in a matter of minutes, and they just really made me feel at ease. And I think it was one of the best things that I've ever done, was to go to that event and get involved, because now I've met people there that I truly consider my family here in Rochester.
We're so engaged with both the cabin event and then the Codawood Squares involvement. Folks wanted to be part of Lambda. They're joining. They're looking forward to the next project. The theme was Streets of Pride, so we had a float that had buildings depicted on it of the different buildings at Kodak, Hawkeye Plant, Building 28, Kodak office, and we had quite a team there of maybe 20 to 30 people that really were committed to it, engaged, very proud of the network and Kodak. And the day of the parade, we had at least 30, 40 people marching with the float, and we won the Stonewall Award in 2002.
In 2003, the Lambda Network again won the Stonewall Award at the Rochester Pride Parade. There is a tremendous value of enabling individuals to be their true self at work, to come out if they choose to do so. Creating an environment where there is respect and trust is not only the right thing to do, it's a business imperative.
Coming out is such a repetitive process and such a potentially draining process. And I guess I really never thought about it that much, but I thought it was, you're out or you're not out. Not you're some places sometimes out, some places sometimes not out.
Part of the GLBT community feels much safer. More people are out, and that's, for me, just incredible. I've worked with individuals who didn't come out at the time I was working with them and are out now, and the difference in their demeanor and performance and everything is really incredible.
It's a very human issue, especially when you're GLBT and you're out there day and night. But it's also a productivity issue and a bottom line cost. If I do not feel comfortable at work, if I do not feel like my coworkers respect me and that I have no dignity in my department, how well am I going to perform on that project?
Everyone should be able to come to work and feel safe and feel included and being a major contributor. And given the situation that we're in as a corporation going through this major transition, we can't afford to have anybody who isn't contributing everything that they got and trying to do even more.
Over the last 10 years, Lambda has created educational programs that are considered best in class in corporate America. Since 2002, Kodak has earned a 100% rating on the Human Rights Campaign Corporate Equality Index, which reflects a corporation's record towards GLBT employees, consumers, and investors. Kodak, Lambda, and the other employee networks have worked together to help create an inclusive culture that welcomes and values diversity.
It's clear that Lambda's members are passionate about making Kodak a great place to work for all employees. That links directly to making Kodak more successful. As we continue to bring KOS to more of our operations, we're counting on Lambda and our other networks to keep talking. We need them to educate us about the challenges and opportunities they encounter and help our coworkers and suppliers and customers understand their perspectives. That's the only way we're going to keep working together and winning together. So let's all keep talking. Thank you very much.
My one or two words to sum up Lambda would be courage and leadership.
I would just say energy. It is an invaluable resource.
Would be passion and education.
Exhilarating, enjoyable, and educational.
One is pride.
and the other is love.
I think of growth and pride.
It's proud. It's the opportunity to mature. There's no more fear.
For me, it's deep personal growth.
Partnering.
The word educational comes to mind.
Our freedom and education.
Would be passionate.
Is energy.
It's been a heck of a journey. Let's keep it rolling for another 100 years.
Invaluable, fun.
The first thing that comes to my mind is passion.
Pride and power.
It is amazing.
It would be family.